Welcome back to the high-stakes world, where every single heartbeat of the global icons BTS is monitored by millions of eyes. Imagine being at the absolute pinnacle of the world, having everything unprecedented fame, fortune, and the unconditional love of a galaxy-sized fandom, but having to keep your most human desire, love, hidden deep in the shadows of the night. For over a decade, the 7 members of BTS have lived under a relentless microscope, where a single misplaced ring, a blurry photo in a park, or a cryptic social media caption can send the entire internet into an absolute meltdown. Why does the mere mention of a girlfriend spark tears across the globe? Is it jealousy, or a deep-seated fear of losing the connection we feel with them? Today, we are diving deep into the most whispered secrets, the rumors that stayed alive in the corners of the internet, and the emotional stories that made fans question everything they knew about their idols. From childhood sweethearts to fellow K-pop stars and mysterious non-celebrity figures, these are the tales that left the fandom in tears. Are you ready to peel back the curtain of the most protected private lives in the industry? Which member's dating rumor actually had the most receipts? Who was the girl that almost changed the course of BTS history? And most importantly, how many of these secrets are grounded in truth? And how many are just ghosts of our imagination? Let's find out as we count down the top 7 secret stories that redefined what it means to be a fan in the age of BTS. We are about to embark on a journey through heartbreaks, denials, and the heavy price of being the world's biggest boy band. Every glance, every shared item of clothing, and every mysterious post will be dissected. Are you truly prepared for the truth behind the headlines, or will these stories leave you in tears just like they did to thousands of others? This isn't just about gossip, it's about the reality of being a global phenomenon. Let's get into the countdown and see which stories shook the foundations of the army. Number 7. RM. The Art Gallery Muse, a wealthy secret, the silent shadow. The life of Kim Namjoon, the formidable leader of BTS, has always been an open book of philosophical reflections, poetic lyrics, and a deep, soul-searching love for art. Yet behind the towering presence of the man we know as RM lies a labyrinth of private mysteries that even the most dedicated army struggle to navigate. Imagine for a moment the sheer weight of being the pillar of the world's biggest musical phenomenon, a man who speaks at the United Nations and guides 6 other souls through the treacherous waters of global superstardom. And then imagine trying to find a corner of the world where you can simply be a man in love. In late 2021, the digital world was set ablaze by a series of meticulously crafted claims that suggested RM wasn't just Namjooning alone through the serene halls of prestigious art galleries, but was instead accompanied by a mysterious, wealthy, non-celebrity woman who had allegedly been his secret anchor since 2019. This wasn't just a fleeting whisper, it was a storm of evidence that left fans in a state of emotional paralysis, questioning every museum post and every cryptic caption the leader had ever shared. The rumor gained massive traction when a controversial YouTube channel, notorious for digging into the private lives of idols, released a detailed expose claiming that RM was in a long-term relationship with a woman of high social standing. The narrative was compelling and deeply intimate, suggesting that the two shared a profound connection over their mutual love for fine art and high culture. The receipts provided were enough to make anyone's heart skip a beat, a series of Lovestagram posts where both RM and this mystery woman appeared to be at the exact same locations at the exact same time. We are talking about the PKM Gallery, a place of quiet beauty where Namjoon is often seen lost in thought. But suddenly, the photos he shared weren't just about the art. They were pieces of a puzzle. Fans began to notice that the woman had posted photos of the same exhibits, often from angles that suggested they were standing right next to each other. But the detail that truly sent the fandom into a spiral of tears and disbelief was the poodle incident. RM had once posted a photo of himself cuddling a very specific, very adorable poodle, a dog that fans had never seen him with before. Shortly after, the mystery woman reportedly posted a photo of that same poodle, leading many to believe the dog actually belonged to her and that RM was spending his rare private moments in her home, domestic and happy. The emotional weight of this possibility was staggering. For years, the joke within the fandom was that RM was the father of the group, or already secretly married, but seeing what looked like tangible proof of a life hidden away made the reality hit home. Is it possible that while we were watching him perform on the world's biggest stages, he was finding solace in the arms of someone who knew Kim Namjoon, not just RM of BTS? The reflection in the gallery windows, the shared affinity for specific obscure artists, and the timing of his solo trips to the United States all seem to align with this secret narrative. When Big Hit Music took the rare and decisive step of issuing a stern legal denial, stating the rumors were not true, it didn't completely silence the whispers. Instead, it added a layer of protective mystery. Fans were left reflecting on the heavy price of his fame, the fact that even if he were in love, the world might never be allowed to know. The thought of Namjoon having to hide a years-long relationship, to keep his muse in the shadows, to protect her from the blinding light of his celebrity, brought a sense of melancholy to the fandom. It made us realize that the leader who gives us so much of his soul through his music might be keeping the most precious part of himself locked away for safety. This rumor wasn't just about dating, it was about the fundamental human right to privacy and the heartbreaking reality that for BTS, love is often a secret kept under lock and key. As we look back on those gallery photos, we have to ask ourselves, were we looking at a man enjoying art? Or a man sharing a silent, beautiful moment with the love of his life? The tears shed over this rumor weren't just out of jealousy, but out of a deep, empathetic realization of how lonely it must be at the top and how desperately we want him to have that someone, even if we can never see her face. The mystery of the wealthy gallery muse remains one of the most sophisticated and emotionally charged chapters in the secret history of BTS's personal lives, a reminder that even the most public figures have shadows we can never penetrate. How much of his heart is truly hidden in those museum corridors? And will we ever truly know the woman who allegedly captured the mind of a genius? This is only the beginning of our countdown, and the stories only get more intense from here. Can you handle the truth behind the next member's secret? Number 6. Jin, the Music Bank Mystery. Informal Whispers, the Loyal Protector. If there is one member of BTS who has perfected the art of being the nation's son-in-law while maintaining an ironclad wall around his private heart, it is undoubtedly Kim Sok-jin. Known globally as worldwide handsome, Jin has built a legendary reputation for his unwavering loyalty to ARMY, often jokingly or perhaps seriously proclaiming that he is married to the fandom. But beneath the dad jokes, the flying kisses, and the chaotic energy of Jin, there lies a history of rumors that once sent the fandom into a state of collective emotional turmoil, leaving fans in tears not just from jealousy, but from a profound fear of the unknown. The most explosive chapter in this secret history takes us back to a rainy evening in June 2018, an incident that remains etched in the memory of every veteran fan as the Music Bank 5 Live scandal. Picture the scene. Jin was serving as a special MC for the music program, sharing the stage with Solbin from the girl group Laboom. It was Solbin's final day as an MC, a moment of high emotion and farewells. After the show, Laboom went live on V Live to thank their fans. As they were wrapping up, a sudden, distinct knock echoed through the door of their waiting room. A voice, unmistakably Jin's, cut through the air with a casual, informal tone, "You did a good job," or "Yaha, Sugo Heiseo." In the rigid hierarchy of the K-pop industry, where honorifics and seniority are everything, this level of casual speech was a nuclear bomb. But the real shockwave came seconds later, when Solbin, in a moment of pure, unfiltered reflex, rushed out of the room, leaving her members behind, and shouted after him, "Ya, Kim Sok-jin," using his real name without any formal titles. The internet didn't just break, it shattered. For hours, fans watched that clip on a loop, their hearts sinking with every replay. Why were they so comfortable? How long had they been speaking to each other like that? To the outside world, it looked like a glimpse into a hidden world of idols dating behind the scenes, away from the cameras. The backlash was swift and brutal, mostly directed at Solbin for her lack of respect. But for ARMY, the tears were different. They were the tears of realizing that the man who seemed so ours might have a whole life, a whole vernacular, and a whole set of relationships that we were never meant to see. The emotional weight of seeing Jin treated not as a global idol, but simply as Sok-jin Ni by a female peer was a reality check that many weren't prepared for. Solbin eventually issued a public apology, effectively burying the incident under a layer of professional PR, but the seed of doubt was planted. Was this just a friendship, or was it the tip of an iceberg? As years passed, the Jin is secretly dating narrative shifted from fellow idols to a much more mysterious figure, the long-term, non-celebrity girlfriend. This rumor has been a persistent ghost in the fandom, especially during his military service and into 2024 and 2025. Rumors began to circulate on private forums and among Sasang circles that Jin had been in a committed relationship with someone from his university days, a woman who had stayed by his side through the meteoric rise of BTS. Fans pointed to his clean record as evidence, not that he wasn't dating, but that he was so protective and so traditional that he had successfully hidden a soulmate for a decade. The reflection in his kitchenware, the specific way he talked about wanting to get married at 30, and his sudden disappearance during his rare breaks all fed into this narrative. Then, in a stunning turn of events in late 2025 and early 2026, during an intimate conversation on Kian84's YouTube channel, the world got a rare glimpse into Jin's real philosophy. Kian84 revealed that even off-camera, Jin remains steadfast, telling him, "No dating, no marriage," because that's not loyalty to the fans. This revelation brought a new wave of tears this time, tears of guilt and overwhelming respect. It painted a picture of a man who chooses loneliness or extreme secrecy as a sacrifice for his career. But the mystery remains. Can a man as full of love as Seokjin truly live without a partner? Or is the loyal protector image the ultimate mask for a love so secret it can never be named? The Solbin incident remains a haunting reminder of how fragile the barrier between an idol's public persona and their private heart truly is. It taught the fandom that a single "ya" can change everything, leaving us to wonder if the worldwide handsome we love is actually keeping the most handsome part of his life, his heart safely tucked away in a place we can never reach. The intensity of this rumor lies in its silence, in the what-ifs that keep fans up at night. Is he the world's most loyal idol, or the world's most successful secret keeper? As we move to the next member, the stories only get more complicated, and the evidence only gets more heart-wrenching. Are you ready for what comes next? Number 5. Suga. The Wine Collaboration, a cryptic post, the digital heartbreak. The world of Min Yoongi, the enigmatic and often stoic rapper known as Suga, is a place where emotions are usually guarded by a fortress of heavy bass lines, sharp tongues, and a production desk that serves as his sanctuary. Yet even the most impenetrable walls have cracks that the world desperately tries to peer through. When we talk about Suga, we talk about a man who survived the cold streets of Daegu and the hunger of his trainee days to become the Minstradamus of K-pop, a figure whose every prediction comes true, but there was one moment in his career that he likely never predicted. The day a single word on Instagram would send the entire global army into a state of hysterical mourning. This is the story of the Surin scandal, a narrative so intense and emotionally draining that it redefined how fans viewed the internal lives of the BTS members. It all traces back to April 2017, when Suga stepped out of his comfort zone as a performer to act as a producer for the talented singer Surin on the track Wine. The song was a massive, chart-topping success, a soulful blend of R&B and hip-hop that showcased Suga's genius behind the boards. At the time, the chemistry seemed strictly professional, a beautiful meeting of two artistic minds, but the seeds of suspicion were planted. Fast forward to March 2018, a time when BTS was ascending to a level of fame never before seen by a Korean act. Suran posted a seemingly innocent photo of macaroons and a cup of coffee on her Instagram. The caption contained the word Yoongi, which in the Korean language means shine or gloss. But as every fan knows, it is also the real name of our beloved Suga. In the hyper-vigilant world of K-pop, where love Instagrams are the primary way idols are thought to communicate their secret romances, this was the equivalent of a digital nuclear explosion. The internet didn't just notice, it obsessed. Within minutes, thousands of fans were scouring every past post, every interview, and every public appearance for receipts. They found photos of both Suga and Suran wearing the same yellow shirts, matching accessories, and even similar-looking dogs in the background of their videos. The fandom was divided into a chaotic battlefield of those who supported the idea of Yoongi finding love and those who were left in literal tears, feeling a sense of betrayal they couldn't quite explain. Why did this hit so hard? Because Suga is the first love of the fandom, the man who wrote a whole song about his piano because he was too focused on his craft to focus on people. The idea that he had been sharing his shine with someone else in secret felt like the end of an era. The emotional weight was amplified by the lyrics of Wine, which many now reread as a secret confession of a flickering flame between a producer and his muse. Fans began to analyze the way Suga looked at her during award shows, the way he spoke about the soulful quality of her voice, and every silence became a confirmation. The intensity of the rumors forced Big Hit Music to break their usual silence, issuing a lightning-fast denial stating that the two were only colleagues who have worked on music together. But the denial didn't stop the tears. It only shifted the narrative. Suran became the target of immense online vitriol, leading her to eventually post a lengthy, heartbreaking apology, where she explained that the word Yoongi was used in the context of shining and not as a reference to the BTS member. She expressed her deep sadness over the misunderstanding, but for many, the damage was done. This incident forced a reflection on the price of Yoongi's privacy. We saw a man who gives everything to his music, his pain, his depression, his triumphs, but who is denied the simple joy of a public friendship with a woman without it being twisted into a secret scandal. The Suran rumor left fans in tears because it exposed the fragility of the bond between idol and fan. It reminded us that as much as we feel we know Min Yoongi through his lyrics, there is a vast, silent ocean of his life that we are not invited to see. Even years later, as Suga collaborates with other powerful female artists like IU or Halsey, the ghost of the Suran rumor lingers in the back of the fandom's mind. Is he truly the lonely genius in the studio, or has he mastered the art of hiding a soulmate so well that we will never find the clues again? The mystery of the Wine era remains one of the most emotional chapters in BTS history, because it wasn't just about a dating rumor. It was about the fear of losing the real Yoongi to a world we can't be part of. As we look at him now, more mature and more private than ever, we have to ask, was that shine really just a caption, or was it the one time the mask slipped? How many other secret muses have inspired the songs that make us cry at night? This journey into the secret hearts of BTS is getting deeper, and the next member's story will challenge everything you think you know about the sunshine of the group. Are you ready to see the tears that came from the most unexpected place? Number 4. J-Hope, the fashion icon muse, the Lollapalooza secret, the mystery behind the smile. The vibrant, neon-lit world of Young Ho-seok, the man we affectionately call the sunshine of BTS, is a place where shadows aren't supposed to exist. Yet, in the heart of his most triumphant solo moments, a whisper of a secret romance emerged that left the global fandom in a state of sheer, tearful confusion. We often see J-Hope as the eternal optimist, the bridge between the group and the fans, the man who sacrifices his own exhaustion to ensure everyone else is smiling. But what happens when that smile is reserved for someone the world was never meant to meet? The story of J-Hope's most persistent dating rumor isn't one of fleeting glances at an award show, but a sophisticated, multi-layered mystery involving the elite world of high fashion and a prominent figure who seemed to be present at every pivotal turn of his solo career. The storm truly began to gather pace during the Jack in the Box era in 2022, a time when Ho-seok was shedding his bright image to reveal a raw, grittier, and more complex version of himself. As he prepared for his historic headlining set at Lollapalooza in Chicago, fans noticed a recurring presence in his inner circle, the stunning and influential fashion icon, Irene Kim. At first, it seemed like a natural professional friendship, two Korean powerhouses conquering the global fashion and music scenes. However, as the days turned into weeks, the evidence began to pile up in a way that felt too deliberate to be accidental, sparking a wave of emotional upheaval across social media platforms like X and TikTok. Every time J-Hope posted a photo of a new outfit or a casual day out, internet detectives found strikingly similar posts from Irene. We are talking about matching phone cases, the same quirky rings, and even photos taken at the exact same obscure locations in New York and Chicago within hours of each other. The Lovestagram theories reached a fever pitch when Irene was spotted not just in the VIP section of his Lollapalooza performance, but allegedly traveling with his core team and even visiting his family's cafe. For many fans, in the sight of J-Hope, the man who usually keeps a professional distance looking so comfortable and deeply connected to someone in the high-stakes world of fashion brought on a wave of parasocial heartbreak. The tears weren't just about jealousy. They were born from the realization that our Hope might have found his own personal sanctuary away from the blinding lights of the stage. The emotional weight of this rumor was amplified by J-Hope's own lyrics in songs like What If, where he questions his own identity and the reality of his public persona. Fans began to wonder, is the sunshine we see just a mask for a man who is deeply in love with someone who understands the pressures of being a global brand? The narrative took an even more intimate turn when photos surfaced of them sharing a meal with mutual friends, looking incredibly domestic and relaxed. Unlike other rumors that are quickly debunked, this one lingered with a heavy, unspoken tension. Big hit music, as usual, remained a fortress of silence, neither confirming nor denying, which only allowed the fandom's imagination to run wild. The reflection of J-Hope's growth as an artist seemed to mirror his growth as a man who was finally ready to claim a piece of his life for himself. This left fans in tears because it signaled the end of the innocent era of BTS. It was a sign that the members were becoming adults with adult lives, adult secrets, and adult loves. How many of those late-night studio sessions were actually spent talking to a muse who inspired the bold new direction of his music? The mystery of the fashion icon muse remains a poignant chapter in J-Hope's history because it challenged the fans to love him enough to let him go, to accept that the man who gives us so much hope deserves to have a secret source of joy that isn't shared with millions. As he entered the military, the rumors didn't die. They simply moved into the shadows, leaving us to wonder if there is a specific person waiting for his return with a smile that even the cameras have never captured. The intensity of this rumor lies in its sophistication. It wasn't a scandal, but a story of two worlds colliding in secret. Was it just a friendship between two icons? Or was it the most stylishly hidden romance in K-pop history? The tears shed over J-Hope weren't just for the loss of a dream, but for the beautiful, heartbreaking reality that even the sun has a side that is always turned away from the world. Are you prepared to see how the next member's rumor took a much more global and mainstream turn, involving one of the most famous faces in the world? What happens when a rumor isn't just a whisper, but a worldwide headline that refused to go away? Number 3. V. The Paris Promenade, the leaked digital trail, the global power couple. The atmospheric and soulful world of Kim Taehyung, the man known as V, is one where art, jazz, and a vintage aesthetic collide to create a persona that feels both otherworldly and deeply human, yet even his carefully curated world of classic films and trumpet melodies was not immune to a digital firestorm that would become arguably the most documented and emotionally exhausting dating rumor in the history of K-pop. When we speak of V, we are speaking of the most handsome face in the world, a man whose every glance can launch 1,000 fan theories. But in May 2022, a single, blurry photograph taken on the scenic roads of Jeju Island didn't just launch a theory, it ignited a global obsession that left millions of fans in literal tears of disbelief. Imagine the scene: a car driving through the breezy coastal roads of Jeju, and inside, two figures that looked unmistakably like V and Jennie from Blackpink. It was the Taehyung era, a moment where the two biggest fandoms in the world, ARMY and Blink, found themselves in a state of unprecedented emotional collision. For many, the sight of these two icons together was too much to process. It felt like a crossover event that shouldn't exist in the strictly controlled reality of the idol industry. But the Jeju photo was only the beginning of a saga that would descend into a dark and invasive digital mystery involving a notorious leaker known as Gurumi Haribo. For months, the fandom lived in a state of perpetual anxiety as private, intimate photos began to surface on Telegram and Twitter photos of Taehyung in a waiting room, while Jennie took a mirror selfie, photos of them wearing matching Winnie the Pooh t-shirts, and even a deeply personal shot of what appeared to be V kissing Jennie's forehead in an apartment that looked exactly like his own. The emotional toll on the fandom was staggering because these weren't just hints, they were glimpses into a private life that felt stolen. Fans were caught in a heartbreaking tug-of-war between wanting to protect their idol's privacy and the agonizing realization that the man they loved might be deeply, truly in love with someone else. The tears shed during this time were a complex mix of grief for the dream of V being single and a profound fear for his safety and mental well-being as his personal data was laid bare for the world to see. Every time a new photo dropped, the internet would erupt into a technical debate. Was it Photoshop? Was it AI? Were the shadows right? But as the receipts became more specific, including photos of V's cat and his family's private spaces, the wall of denial began to crumble. The climax of this narrative arrived a year later in May 2023, on the romantic streets of Paris. A video surfaced, filmed by a French photographer, showing two people walking hand in hand along the Seine River at night, followed by their respective managers. They looked happy, relaxed, and entirely focused on each other, seemingly oblivious to the fact that their secret was being broadcast to millions in real time. Seeing V, a man who values his freedom and his inner child, finally walking openly with someone he cared for was a moment of bittersweet clarity for the fandom. It was a realization that the secret girlfriend wasn't just a rumor, she was a reality that existed outside the music videos and the stage. The silence from HYBE and YG Entertainment was perhaps the loudest confirmation of all, as they simply stated it was their private lives, a departure from the usual denials that spoke volumes. The emotional reflection here is deep. It forced fans to confront the reality of their parasocial relationships. We realized that while we were watching Taehyung perform Singularity and Christmas Tree, he was navigating a complex, high-stakes romance that the world wasn't ready to accept. The narrative took a final, tearful turn in late 2023, just before V's military enlistment, when Korean media reported that the couple had officially broken up. This news brought a different kind of tears for a love that may have withered under the impossible pressure of global scrutiny and the looming separation of military service. It left fans wondering if the price of being Kim Taehyung is that even a global power couple romance cannot survive the weight of the crown. Was the Paris walk a final goodbye? Or a brave statement of what once was? The mystery of the Paris promenade remains the ultimate example of how the private hearts of BTS are often the target of a world that refuses to let them be. As we look back on those leaked photos, we don't just see a dating rumor, we see the struggle of a man trying to find a normal rhythm in an abnormal life. The intensity of the V and Jennie story redefined the boundaries of the K-pop industry, proving that even at the top of the world, love is a battlefield that can leave everyone in tears. How much of Taehyung's soul was poured into his solo album Layover as a reflection of this secret chapter? We may never know the full truth, but the echoes of those footsteps in Paris will haunt the fandom forever. Are you ready to dive into the next member whose rumor involves a long-hidden past and a connection that goes back to the very beginning? Number 2. Jimin. The mystery of the matching apartment, the hidden domesticity, the clues that refuse to fade. The ethereal and deeply sensitive world of Park Jimin, the man whose dance is like poetry in motion and whose voice can heal the deepest wounds of the soul, has always been a sanctuary of warmth and kindness for the ARMY. Yet within this sanctuary, a storm of mystery has been brewing for years that has left fans in a state of constant, tearful, emotional oscillation. We know Jimin as the angel of the group, the one who always offers a shoulder to cry on and whose cutie, sexy, lovely persona masks a man of incredible depth and ironclad privacy. But what happens when the digital shadows of his private life begin to take a shape that no one expected? The most persistent and emotionally taxing rumor surrounding Jimin involves the talented actress Song Da-yoon, a narrative that began as a whisper in late 2022 and evolved into a full-scale digital investigation that has kept the fandom on edge well into 2024 and 2025. Imagine the scene. A quiet, luxurious apartment in one of Seoul's most exclusive districts, where the lighting is soft and the furniture is curated with impeccable taste, and then imagine fans discovering that the very same sofa, the very same dinnerware, and the very same unique flooring appear in the social media posts of two different people. This wasn't just about a shared fashion sense, it was about the evidence of domesticity that suggested Jimin wasn't just dating, but was perhaps sharing a life in a way that felt incredibly intimate and permanent. The receipts provided by eagle-eyed internet sleuths were staggering in their detail, from matching AirPods cases with their names on them, to photos of the same indoor plants and even a specific, obscure brand of cooking pot that appeared in the background of their respective videos. The emotional weight of these discoveries was like a tidal wave hitting the fandom. For many, Jimin represents a pure, almost crystalline bond between artist and fan, and the idea of him having a secret world with someone else felt like a shattering of a sacred dream. The tears shed over Jimin were different. They were tears of protectiveness, a fear that his kindness was being taken advantage of, or a deep, aching realization that the baby Mochi we adore is actually a grown man, navigating the complexities of a long-term relationship. The intensity reached a breaking point in May 2024, when Song Da-yoon posted a series of cryptic Instagram stories that seemed to directly reference Jimin including a video of a person hidden by an emoji walking near the Brooklyn Museum, a location Jimin had recently visited, and a clip that allegedly featured a Jimin name tag on a set of earphones. This led to a massive polarized reaction within the fandom. Some fans were devastated, feeling that the breadcrumbs were being dropped to taunt them, while others were left in tears of frustration over the lack of a clear denial from HYBE. As a documentary-style observer, one has to ask, why did Jimin, a man so careful with his words, allow these coincidences to persist for so long? Is it possible that his silence is his only way of protecting a love that he isn't ready to share with a world that might tear it apart? The reflection here is profound. Jimin has always sung about his filter and the different versions of himself he shows to the world. But the Song Da-yoon mystery forced fans to confront the reality that the most authentic version of Jimin might be the one we never see, the one who comes home to a shared space and a quiet life away from the screams of the stadium. The rumors of them being spotted together at a soccer match, wearing matching jewelry, and even sharing the same workout habits have created a narrative of a hidden soulmate that has redefined the boundaries of fan loyalty. Many fans found themselves crying not out of jealousy, but out of a desperate hope that if this is true, he is being loved with the same intensity that he loves his fans. But the questions remain, haunting and unanswered. Was the Lovistagram a series of incredible coincidences, or a brave, subtle way of saying, I am not alone? How much of Jimin's emotional solo work, like Face and Muse, was inspired by the struggle of keeping this secret while the world demanded every piece of his heart? The story of Jimin and the mysterious actress is a testament to the heavy price of being the world's sweetheart, the realization that your happiness might have to be a secret kept under 1,000 locks. As we reflect on this, we see a man who is no longer just the angel of BTS, but a man who is fiercely guarding the one thing fame can't buy, a home for his heart. The tears of the fans are a reflection of this transition, a painful but necessary growth as we realize that our idols are human beings with lives that don't always include us. The mystery of the matching apartment remains one of the most emotionally charged chapters in BTS history because it touches the core of Jimin's identity. Are you truly prepared for the final, most explosive story in our countdown? What happens when the golden maknae of the world is caught in a rumor so big it felt like the earth itself shifted? Can your heart handle the #1 secret that left the entire world in tears? Number 1. Jungkook. The golden maknae's stolen privacy. The CCTV scandal. The heartbreak of a global icon. The meteoric and almost supernatural world of Jungkook, the golden maknae, whose very name is synonymous with perfection, talent, and an unparalleled global influence, is a world that has been lived entirely in the glare of the spotlight since he was just 15 years old. Yet, within the heart of this global phenomenon lies the most guarded and most emotionally explosive secret history of them all. When we reach the #1 spot on our list, we aren't just talking about a rumor. We are talking about a series of seismic events that shook the foundations of the music industry and left millions of fans in a state of absolute, inconsolable tears. Imagine being the main character of the world, a man who can sell out stadiums in minutes and turn a simple fabric softener into a global sellout, but whose every personal interaction is treated like a crime scene. The most heart-wrenching chapter in Jungkook's secret history began in September 2019, during the group's first long-term break, a moment that was supposed to be a sanctuary of rest, but instead became a nightmare of leaked privacy. A grainy, black-and-white CCTV image from a karaoke bar in Jeju Island was illegally leaked and spread like wildfire across the internet, showing a man who looked unmistakably like Jungkook, with his arms around a woman, a tattoo artist named Miju. The world didn't just stop, it imploded. For the first time, the innocent image of the youngest member was challenged by a raw, unfiltered glimpse into his private life. The tears shed by ARMY during this era were unlike any other. They were a mixture of deep betrayal, a terrifying sense of loss, and a fierce, protective rage against the invasion of his privacy. The tattoo artist was subjected to horrific online harassment, forcing her to issue a statement denying the relationship, while Big Hit Music took immediate legal action. But the scar remained. Fans analyzed every tattoo Jungkook added afterward as a symbol of his rebellion and his right to be a man, not just an idol. This incident wasn't just about dating, it was about the death of the maknae image, and the realization that Jungkook was growing up in a world that wouldn't let him breathe. Fast forward to the era of 2021 through 2023, And the rumors shifted into a more sophisticated and arguably more damaging territory with the Lee Yubi scandal. This rumor was fueled by a notorious YouTuber who specialized in exposing idols, claiming that Jungkook and the actress were sharing love-instagram hints, including matching bracelets and a shared interest in specific Buddhist art. The level of detail was enough to send fans into a spiral of emotional exhaustion, questioning if the man who told them they were his only girlfriend was actually living a double life. The emotional toll of these rumors was so high that even as Big Hit issued firm denials, the shadow of the doubt lingered. Then came the Seven era in 2023, his official solo debut that conquered the Billboard charts. The chemistry between Jungkook and actress Han So-hee in the music video was so palpable, so electric, and so mature that it sparked a whole new wave of global whispers. Were they just acting, or was this the coming out of a man who was finally ready to show the world he understood love and desire? The receipts this time weren't blurry photos, but the raw intensity in his eyes, and the lyrics of Seven itself, which spoke of a love that was all-consuming and daily. For many fans, seeing Jungkook embrace this mature persona brought tears of pride, but also tears of a lingering, bittersweet nostalgia for the boy he used to be. The mystery deepened in early 2024 and throughout 2025 during his military service. As fans noticed, he became even more protective of his personal space, even calling out sasaengs for sending food to his house. This revealed the dark side of his secret life, the fact that his love life has to be a secret, not just for his sake, but for the safety of anyone he might care for. On a rainy night in late 2023, during one of his last solo V-Lives before enlisting, Jungkook addressed the dating rumors directly, looking straight into the camera and saying, "I don't have a girlfriend, I only have ARMY. I'm only looking at you guys." This moment was perhaps the most emotional of all, leaving fans in tears of both relief and a profound, heavy sadness. Was he telling the absolute truth, or was he forced to say that to maintain the peace in a fandom that sometimes refuses to let him go? The reflection here is the most intense of our entire countdown. We see a man who has given his entire youth to us, a man who has ARMY tattooed on his knuckles so he can never hide his love for his fans, but who may have to sacrifice a real girlfriend to keep that bond. The Golden Maknae remains the most mysterious member because his love life is the ultimate prize in the world of K-pop gossip, yet he carries the weight of that crown with a smile that often hides the loneliness of a man who can never walk hand in hand with someone in the park. As he serves his country and prepares for the grand return of BTS in late 2025 and 2026, the question remains, who is the person who will finally capture the heart of the man who has the heart of the entire world? Or has she been there all along, hidden in the lyrics of Standing Next to You and Hate You? The tears shed over Jungkook's dating rumors are a testament to the fact that he is the world's most beloved younger brother and first love, and the thought of sharing him is the hardest lesson the fandom has ever had to learn. This concludes our countdown of the most heart-wrenching secret stories of BTS, a journey that has shown us that behind the glitz, the glamour, and the record-breaking success, there are 7 men who are just trying to find a way to love and be loved in a world that never stops watching. How many of these tears were necessary, and how many were the price of a love that is truly out of this world?